Picture this. Your best employee walks into your office, they're loyal, and they're crushing it at work. And they ask you for a 20% raise. Most managers, they panic because 20% is huge. But here's a twist. Saying no to a raise might actually cost you 3 times more than giving it. And let me show you how. Many companies underestimate and don't realize how expensive it is to replace an employee. Studies have shown that it can cost you up to 6 to 9 months of that person's salary just to replace them. Now let me make this real for you. Imagine one of your employees, let's call him Adam. Adam is a great employee and he's making $50,000 a year. He knows your system, he knows the process, and he gets along with everyone, and he's consistently delivering. Now let's say that Adam walks into your office and he asks for that 20% raise. And as a manager, you turn it down. Now you're not just replacing Adam's $50,000 salary with another one. You're actually taking on an additional $25,000 to $37,000 in hidden costs on top of that $50,000 salary that you're going to be paying the new person. Now you're going to be wondering and asking, why $25,000 to $37,000 in hidden costs? Well, that's because you're going to be paying for recruiting, onboarding, loss of productivity, and all the messy stuff that comes with turnovers. And on top of all of these hidden costs, you're gonna have to take into account the hit that it's going to take on the morale of the team, as well as the long hours that you and your team are gonna have to spend to cover, and the risk of hiring someone who just doesn't fit. Now think about what I just said, and we're gonna rewind back a little. Adam came into your office and he asked for that 20% raise. Adam makes $50,000 a year. 20% of $50,000 is $10,000 additional every year, which is basically just $833 a month. Now that I broke down the numbers for you, you might see that this is a little bit of a big jump. But when you stack it up against the hidden costs of the $25,000 to $37,000 that we spoke about, along with the hours, the risk of recruiting someone who just doesn't fit, the hit on the morale of the team, this might actually look like a strategic investment to give Adam that 20% raise that he's asking for. And now I get it. A lot of managers might say, well, what if I give my employee the raise that they're asking for and they decide to get up and leave anyways? Here's the reality. The raise isn't associated and tied with just the dollar value. It's actually sending out signals to your employee that you see them, you hear them, you value them, and you want them to be a part of your team. And trust me, when your team members feel like that they're recognized like that, they usually want to stick around and even give more. But if you turn your employees down, that sends the complete opposite message. It's basically telling them you are replaceable. And that's the kind of message that usually pushes people out the door. Now, here's what I really want you to understand. The real cost of turnover equals recruitment, plus onboarding, plus loss of productivity, plus the impact on the culture. Let me break this down for you using conservative numbers. First, let's talk about recruitment. This includes things like job ads, recruiter fees, and the time you and your team spend interviewing. That alone runs between $4,000 and $7,000. Next is onboarding and admin. Things like HR, paperwork, IT setup, and getting them into your system. That's another approximately $1,000 to $2,000. And then you've got the training. It typically takes 3 to 6 months for a new hire to become fully productive. That learning curve, that alone can cost you about $10,000 or more. Add in loss of productivity, that's the time it takes for the new hire to catch up. That's another $5,000 to $10,000. And finally, there's a team disruption and morale dip. This one is hard to put a number on, but it's real and it hits your culture. So let's total this up. You're easily looking at $20,000 to $30,000 or more just to replace someone making $50,000 a year. And that's on top of the salary that you're going to be paying. And I'm using very conservative numbers. Let's try doing something different. How about we flip the perspective for a second? Instead of thinking of a raise as an expense, why don't we use it as a retention tool? Every dollar that you spend on a top performer prevents the much bigger cost of recruitment, onboarding, loss in productivity, and that ripple effect that will have on the entire team. Because remember this, high performers are not just filling a seat. They're actually driving your results, they're mentoring others on the team, and they're keeping your team moving forward. The last thing you want to do is lose a high performer. because by losing them, you're also losing momentum, you're delaying projects, and you're disturbing the culture of the company. So when you give a high-performing employee a raise, it's not just about generosity, it's actually a smart business move because you're keeping the engine of your company running strong. So when a high performer asks you for a raise, it's not a threat, it's a signal. They're telling you, I want to grow here, I want to stay, and I want to be a part of your team. In saying yes, it's actually one of the smartest cost-effective moves that you can make as a manager. Because saying no might save you a few dollars now in the moment, but it will cost you tens of thousands of dollars and months of lost momentum down the line. Let me leave you with this. So the next time that someone asks for a raise, pause before reacting, run the numbers, and look at the bigger picture. Because at the end, it's not just about dollars, it's about the value, the retention, and keeping your team moving strong.